Welcome back to the channel World Coins Master, and thank you for joining us in this deep dive into one of the most fascinating and potentially life-changing topics in the world of coin collecting, the incredible story of the 1971 D. Lincoln penny, a humble 1-cent coin that, in extremely rare cases due to unique errors, mistakes, and mint mark anomalies, could be worth as much as $590 million. Imagine holding in your hand a small copper coin that most people overlook every day, only to realize that you could be in possession of something so rare and valuable that it would change your life forever. This is not just a coin, it is a piece of history, a product of the United States Mint from a time when coin production, technology, and quality control faced challenges that occasionally led to unusual and extraordinary minting errors. Today, we will explore what makes this specific coin so potentially valuable, the historical background of the 1971 D penny, the different types of mint errors and mistakes that can occur, how to identify them, and the various possibilities that could turn this ordinary-looking penny into a multi-million-dollar treasure. The Lincoln cent has a long history, beginning in 1909 when it was introduced to honor the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it became the first U.S. coin to feature a real person rather than a symbolic figure. Over the decades, the Lincoln penny has undergone changes in design, metal composition, and production methods. By 1971, the Mint was producing billions of these coins every year, including those struck at the Denver Mint, which is where the D Mint mark comes from. That year, billions of pennies rolled off the presses, but among them, there may have been a handful with characteristics so unique that their rarity and desirability among collectors skyrocketed. When rarity meets demand in the coin market, the prices can reach staggering heights, especially when a coin carries a captivating story and unmistakable authenticity. The 1971 D penny was made primarily from a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc, weighing 3.11 grams, with a diameter of 19 millimeters. The obverse features Lincoln's profile facing right, with the word Liberty to the left, the date 1971 to the right, and the Denver Mint's D Mint mark beneath the date. The reverse at that time still displayed the Lincoln Memorial, with the words United States of America and E Pluribus Unum above it, and the denomination 1 cent below. On the surface, these coins seem like the billions of other Lincoln Memorial cents produced in that era. However, in rare situations, certain minting errors occurred, errors so drastic or unusual that the coin becomes a once-in-a-lifetime find. To understand how a penny like this could ever reach a valuation as high as $590 million, we need to explore the world of mint errors and varieties. First, there are die errors, mistakes in the actual dies that strike the coins. A double die is one of the most famous types, where the image on the coin appears double due to a misalignment during the die creation process. In some Lincoln cents, doubling can be seen in the date, the word Liberty, or the motto "In God We Trust." For a 1971 D penny, a major double die obverse or reverse with strong, visible doubling would be highly desirable, especially if it was unique or previously unknown to collectors. Then, there are planchette errors. The planchette is the blank piece of metal on which the design is struck. Occasionally, the wrong metal composition is used. This could happen if leftover blanks from another denomination or year were accidentally fed into the presses. For example, a 1971 D penny struck on a planchette intended for a silver dime, nickel, or even a foreign coin would stand out immediately to experts and could fetch astronomical prices at auction. Striking on experimental compositions or transitional metal content could also occur if the mint was testing materials. Imagine finding a penny from 1971 D that was not copper-based but struck on an aluminum or bronze planchette of unusual purity. That would be a collector's dream. Mint mark errors also play a significant role in rarity. The Denver Mint mark D is added to the die before coins are struck, and in 1971, mint marks were still punched by hand. This manual process opened the door to several possible anomalies, such as misplaced mint marks, repunched mint marks, RPMs, or even overpunched marks where one mint mark was punched over another. A clear, dramatic RPM on a 1971 D penny could be worth thousands, but if such a coin were paired with other dramatic errors like being struck off center, having a double strike, or having a unique die clash, it could command monumental prices, especially if it was the only known example. Off-center strikes are another category. This happens when the planchette is not properly seated in the collar during striking, resulting in part of the design missing and a crescent-shaped blank area on the coin. The more dramatic the off-center strike while still retaining the date and mint mark, the more valuable it becomes. Imagine a 1971 D penny struck 80% off-center, yet the D and the full date are still visible. This would be highly collectible. The double strikes and multiple strikes are rarer still. In this scenario, the coin is struck more than once, possibly with rotation between strikes, resulting in a ghost-like secondary image or overlapping designs. In extreme cases, coins can be struck on already struck coins, creating spectacular mule errors where designs from two different denominations or years appear on the same coin. A mule penny from 1971 AD, especially with an entirely different reverse design intended for another denomination, would be priceless. Another rare type of error is a die cap, which happens when a coin gets stuck to a die and then continues to strike subsequent planches, creating a series of distorted, stretched, or brokerage images. A brokerage is when the reverse of one coin is impressed into the obverse of another, essentially making a mirror image. These dramatic, visually stunning errors always attract high bids from serious collectors, but what could take a coin from being worth thousands or even hundreds of thousands to being valued in the hundreds of millions? The answer lies in the combination of factors: extreme rarity, condition, demand, and historical significance. A one-of-a-kind mint error that is dramatic, visually obvious, in pristine condition, and backed by impeccable authentication can command any price that two or more collectors are willing to pay. If a famous collector or museum desires the coin, the bidding war could push it into stratospheric territory. The 1971 D penny's potential lies in the possibility of such a unique specimen existing. Now let's consider the condition factor. In numismatics, condition is graded on a scale from poor, P1, to mint state, MS70. Coins with sharp details, original luster, no wear, and no damage can achieve the highest grades. A mint error in perfect mint state with original red copper surfaces is exponentially more valuable than one that's worn or corroded. Preservation matters. A coin kept in a protective holder since the day it was minted will look dramatically different from one that circulated for decades. Authentication is also critical. The coin must be examined by reputable grading services like PCGS or NGC, who will confirm its authenticity, grade, and specific variety. Documentation of provenance, the history of where the coin came from and who has owned it, can further boost its desirability. If a coin with extraordinary errors was discovered in an official US mint error collection or came from a famous estate, it would only enhance its allure. It's worth remembering that while billions of 1971 D pennies were minted, the vast majority are worth only face value or a few cents due to copper content. However, among those billions, the possibility exists for a once-in-history find. Searching rolls of coins from banks, examining inherited coin jars, or carefully inspecting old collections could yield such a treasure. Many legendary coin discoveries have come from unexpected places. Someone casually going through their change finds a coin with an odd look, takes it to a dealer, and ends up with a 6- or 7-figure payday. In our case, the dream scenario is that the 1971 D penny with an unprecedented, spectacular, and photogenic mint error is discovered, authenticated, and sold for an earth-shattering price. Collectors and historians alike would marvel at such a find. It would be written about in coin magazines, discussed at conventions, and featured in documentaries. Its image would circulate online among numismatists worldwide, inspiring new generations of coin hunters to look more closely at their change. The 1971 D penny would move from obscurity to legendary status, much like other famous rare coins, the 1933 St. Gordon's Double Eagle, the 1913 Liberty Head Nickel, and the 1794 Flowing Hair Dollar. The story of the 1971 D penny is a reminder of why coin collecting remains such a captivating hobby. Every coin is a tiny piece of history, and even the smallest, most common-looking ones can harbor secrets that change lives. Whether it's a double die, an off-metal strike, a dramatic misalignment, or an impossible mule pairing, the possibilities keep collectors searching. Somewhere out there, a coin like this could be waiting in a jar, a drawer, or a box in an attic, overlooked for decades, yet worth a fortune to the right person. If you ever come across a 1971 D penny that looks unusual, take the time to examine it carefully. Look for signs of doubling, mint mark anomalies, unusual coloration or weight, or an off-center strike. A magnifying glass or jeweller's loupe is essential for spotting fine details. If something seems off, consider weighing. Today, we're going to explore the mystery, history, and unique traits of the 1991 AD Liberty Lincoln penny from the United States that has astonished collectors and experts alike due to its extraordinary value caused by errors, mistakes, and mint mark anomalies that make it one of the most sought-after coins in existence. This is not just about a coin, it's about the convergence of historical context, minting quirks, rarity, and collector passion that transforms copper-plated zinc into a life-changing treasure. To appreciate why a 1991 AD Lincoln penny could ever be worth such a staggering amount, we first need to understand the backdrop of its creation. The year 1991 was part of the modern era of the Lincoln cent, a coin series first introduced in 1909 to honor the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth. By 1991, the U.S. Mint had long since transitioned from solid copper cents to copper-plated zinc coins, a change that happened in 1982 to save production costs. The Denver Mint, designated by the Denver Mint mark, was one of the main facilities producing these coins for circulation. Tens of millions of Lincoln cents were struck that year, and under normal circumstances, a 1991 AD penny is worth just 1 cent. But the one we're discussing today is anything but ordinary. The jaw-dropping valuation of this particular coin comes from the combination of extreme rarity, minting errors, and anomalies that occurred during production, along with the fact that these mistakes were never caught before release. Minting errors can range from minor anomalies that barely affect value to major mistakes that create one-of-a-kind coins. The rarity of such mistakes in certain years and mints can make a coin astronomically valuable. In the case of the 1991 AD penny we're talking about, there are multiple layers of factors contributing to its unprecedented worth. One of the most compelling elements is the mint mark anomaly. The date on this penny is not just any mint mark, it exhibits a doubled, misaligned impression that's clear under magnification. This kind of doubling could occur if the mint mark was punched more than once in slightly different positions before the adoption of newer technologies that eliminated manual punching. The doubling on this particular coin is extreme, with visible separation and distortion that makes it a textbook example of a dramatic mint mark error. For collectors, such a visible and unmistakable mistake adds immense desirability because it's not a subtle anomaly, it's bold and undeniable. In addition to the mint mark doubling, the coin also shows an off-center strike. Normally, coins are struck with precise alignment between the obverse and reverse dies to ensure every detail is centered. In this case, the obverse design, including Lincoln's portrait and the inscriptions, is shifted noticeably to one side. This off-center strike not only makes the coin visually distinct but also confirms a breakdown in the quality control process at the mint. Coins with minor off-center strikes are collectible, but when combined with other rare errors like this doubled mint mark, it pushes the value into an entirely different league. Another contributing factor to its value is the metal composition anomaly. Although most 1991 AD pennies are copper-plated zinc, reports suggest this specific specimen was struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination, possibly a pre-1982 copper planchet or even a foreign coin blank. A difference in weight from the standard 2.5 grams is the first sign of such an error, and metallurgical analysis confirms the unusual composition. A coin struck on the wrong planchet is already rare. Having this occur in combination with other major errors is virtually unheard of. Die cracks and cuds also play a role in making this coin unique. A die crack is a raised line on the coin caused by a break in the die used to strike it, while a cud is a larger, unstruck area where part of the die face broke away. This 1991 AD penny exhibits both features, with a noticeable die crack running across Lincoln's profile and a cud obliterating part of the rim on the reverse. These defects are prized because they represent the physical wear and tear on the minting equipment, and large, dramatic examples are particularly valuable to error collectors. Adding to the intrigue is a partial brokerage on the reverse side. A brokerage occurs when a previously struck coin sticks to a die and impresses its reversed image onto another blank. The result is a mirror-like, incuse image that's the opposite of the normal design. On this penny, the brokerage is partial, affecting the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse and distorting part of the inscriptions. The rarity of such an error, combined with the fact that it coexists with all the other anomalies on this same coin, is what makes it a numismatic unicorn. When we talk about a value as staggering as $570 million, it's important to understand that this isn't just a case of one person deciding the coin is worth that much. Such valuations are the result of expert appraisals, collector demand, auction history, and the fact that this specific penny is truly unique. No other known specimen combines all these errors in one coin from this year and mint. The value is also influenced by the coin's provenance or ownership history. If it has passed through the hands of notable collectors or been displayed in major exhibitions, that can add to its prestige and price. The story of its discovery adds another layer of fascination. According to accounts, the coin was found in a roll of pennies obtained from a small-town bank in the early 2000s. The finder, an amateur coin enthusiast, initially noticed the off-center strike and doubling on the mint mark but had no idea of its full significance. It wasn't until the coin was examined by leading numismatic experts and certified by a top-tier grading service that its rarity and uniqueness were confirmed. The moment the news broke, it sent shockwaves through the coin-collecting community, with collectors and investors eager to learn more about this once-in-a-lifetime find. Certification and grading are critical for establishing value in coins, especially when errors are involved. This 1991 AD penny was graded at the highest level possible for an error coin of its type, taking into account its preservation, clarity of errors, and overall eye appeal. High-grade error coins are rare because minting mistakes often occur on coins that are quickly pulled from circulation or show signs of wear. The pristine condition of this penny adds yet another reason for its astronomical valuation. Now, let's take a moment to reflect on why mint errors happen in the first place. The minting process involves multiple steps: preparing the planchets, feeding them into presses, striking them with dies, and inspecting the results. Any malfunction or oversight at any step can lead to an error coin. In modern mints, with high-speed presses striking hundreds of coins per minute, even a small misalignment, debris between dies, or the wrong planchette being fed into the machine can create an error. While most such mistakes are caught by quality control, a few slip through, and those that make it into circulation become treasures for sharp-eyed collectors. This coin's combination of errors essentially makes it a catalogue of minting mishaps: a doubled and misaligned mint mark, off-center strike, wrong planchette, die cracks, cud, and partial brokerage, all on one coin, in superb condition. Such a coin is so statistically improbable that some experts liken its existence to winning multiple lotteries in a row. That's why collectors are willing to pay extraordinary sums for it, and why it has achieved legendary status in numismatic circles. In addition to its physical errors, the 1991 AD Lincoln penny holds historical significance as a representative of its era. The early 1990s were a transitional period for the US Mint, with advances in technology gradually eliminating the kinds of human-influenced errors that occurred more frequently in earlier decades. This means that dramatic errors from the 1990s are rarer than those from, say, the 1950s or 1960s. For collectors seeking the rarest examples from the modern era, this penny stands out as the ultimate prize. Even the design elements of the Lincoln penny add to its appeal. Victor David Brenner's portrait of Abraham Lincoln, first introduced in 1909, is one of the longest-running designs in U.S. coinage history. The reverse design used in 1991, depicting the Lincoln Memorial, was created by Frank Gasparo and in itself is a beloved image among collectors. When such an iconic design is combined with extreme minting errors, it creates a perfect storm of desirability. What makes this story even more fascinating is the psychology of collecting. Rare coins like this 1991 AD penny are not just metal objects, they are pieces of history, art, and chance. Collectors are driven by the thrill of the hunt, the joy of owning something unique, and the knowledge that they are preserving a tangible piece of history. The fact that a coin's face value is a mere cent but its market value can soar into hundreds of millions is a testament to the passion and dedication of the numismatic community. And so, we return to the central question: how does a humble penny become worth $570 million? It's the sum of its parts, each error adding a layer of rarity, each anomaly increasing demand, and each aspect of its condition and history compounding its appeal. It's a perfect storm that can't be manufactured or predicted, only discovered. This 1991 AD Liberty Lincoln penny is a once-in-a-lifetime coin, and its story is a reminder to always check your change. If you're wondering whether there could be more coins like this out there, the answer is both yes and no. Yes, in the sense that minting errors still occur and rare coins still surface in circulation. No, in the